We are talking about how data engineering enables artificial intelligence, especially generative artificial intelligence. We create a vector database. The vector database is used by artificial intelligence to do vector search or similarity search. In other words, to search by semantics. We take business data stored in business databases, vectorize business data to create vectors. Lastly, vectors are stored in a vector database. Let's go through this process in more details. A data store is commonly a business database. A business database has data points. Data points are business data. A data point can be a block of text, a document, an audio, a video, or any other type of data. A business database is based on a data model. We have the relational data model. We also have NoSQL data models. NoSQL data models include key value, columnar, document, and graph. A business database can be located locally on a private network or remotely in a cloud. Once we have identified business databases we want to get data from, we want to create data pipelines. A data pipeline moves data from point A to point B. A data pipeline also does data transformation. We want to use data pipelines to prepare business data to be consumed by artificial intelligence. We want to vectorize business data so that artificial intelligence can do vector search or search by semantics. When we vectorize business data, we need to decide what business data we want to vectorize. We also want to decide what AI models we want to use to vectorize business data. The decision depends on our use case and business requirements. Once we have vectorized business data and we have vectors, vectors are stored in a vector store. A vector store is commonly a business database. A business database or a vector database is based on a data model. We have the relational data model. We also have NoSQL data models. A vector database can be located locally on a private network or remotely in a cloud. In a vector database, we create vector index. We also partition vector index. Vector index and index partitions greatly improve performance of artificial intelligence when artificial intelligence does vector search or search by semantics. Take a close look at this process and keep it in mind. Once we have a vector database, we are ready to do vector search or similarity search. In other words, to search by semantics. When we ask artificial intelligence a question, we provide a query prompt. Our query prompt needs to be vectorized so that artificial intelligence can do vector search or search by semantics. We need to decide what AI models we want to use to vectorize our query prompt. The decision depends on our use case and business requirement. Once we have vectorized our query prompt and we have a query vector, we are ready to do vector search or to do similarity search in our vector database. When artificial intelligence does vector search or search by semantics in the vector database, it uses one of the distance metrics. There are 3 commonly used distance metrics in industry. They are Euclidean, cosine, and dot product. We need to select the base distance metric based on our use case and business requirements. Vector search or similarity search will return similar vectors. In other words, artificial intelligence will return similar vectors after it does vector search or search by semantics. The returned similar vectors can be used for one of the 2 purposes. Number 1, the returned similar vectors can be linked to original data points. Keep this in mind. Original data points are business data. A data point can be a block of text, a document, a video, an audio, or any other type of data. Number 2, the returned similar vectors can be used to generate new data. When artificial intelligence generates new data, usually we use generative artificial intelligence to do it. We need to decide what AI models we want to use for new data generation when generative artificial intelligence generates new data. The decision depends on our use case, business requirements, and the query prompt we have provided. Take a close look at this vector search process. Keep this in mind. Vector search is the foundation of artificial intelligence, especially generative artificial intelligence. What we have talked about in this video are components of data engineering. In summary, data engineering enables artificial intelligence, especially generative artificial intelligence.